Hola amigos, bien ok. Saludos otra vez desde Medellín. So hoy, día 41, day 41. So hoy un poco para reflejar o reflexionar con el proceso en total con este proyecto y poquito como aquí cambiar el perspectivo para remotivarnos y reenfocar un poco con nuestros estudios, ¿no? So today, day 41, so we're almost halfway. It's a good point really to go back and look again at what we've done in these 40 odd days and see maybe how we can freshen it up a little bit so we regain our focus for the last part, yeah? So if we think about it, okay, so we've looked at taking some type of textbook or grammar book perhaps to help us revise some of the essential parts of the language that, you know, a bit technical and but we still need to have some sense of understanding of that. So in my case I was using Bregstein's book, Complete Spanish, which is very good. But towards the end of that I was finding that quite technical, as I said earlier. You know, I think some of that would have helped me more if I was going on to do a lot of writing, to the academic writing in Spanish. That would be essential. But at the moment that's not my purpose, so I've left that where that is. And I've been focusing instead on more practical dialogues that I think I'm going to use more likely in my sort of day-to-day. So to help that, obviously we're looking at particular scenarios, particular situations, trying to read around with general vocabulary for those particular situations, but I'm also using things like podcasts, news programs, things like that, so I get to listen to vocabulary that's relevant to that particular topic area, because that's very useful. And don't forget we have basically the big division between things you're going to hear and things that you yourself need to say. So it's obviously there's a big division between that, because obviously we can hear an awful lot of vocabulary in a particular situation, different phrases and things, but most of these are the questions for us, or they're just general, if you like, background noise, but they might not be phrases that are particularly useful for us ourselves to use to complete the task we've gone there to do. I know we looked at recently using reading as a way to widen our vocabulary. So again, we're picking books that are going to help us with some of these topic areas we want to get better at. We can use that to amplify our vocabulary, give us much more words on a particular specialist topic. We can see phrases that are commonly used to describe it. And this is very helpful for us as adults learning the language, because we have it some way to try and catch up the time we've lost as children, effectively, when we would otherwise have been studying the language. So to try and compress into a few years what otherwise, you know, we would have in our normal language would have taken us maybe 10 or 12 years to reach that kind of level. So the reading's useful. Now I'm trying to bring in a bit more summaries into the reading, so I'm not just reading it, I'm trying to go back through it so I can summarize it in my own words, what I've been reading. That helps me retain a bit better what I've been reading, and again refocus a bit on some useful phrases I may have found in that text. And the last thing we picked up on yesterday was trying to use more questions, or trying to think of secondary questions we can ask in given situations, again to try and push the conversation a bit further, to give us more chance really to listen to the native speakers of the target language we try to learn, because if we encourage them to speak a little bit more, then obviously we it's a win for us, because we get more to listen to, we get more demonstrations of phrases, useful words, things like that. And the final thing really, because I'm nearly like halfway through the project now, what I've decided to do is I've stepped up. I think I mentioned this at the beginning when we started this off. I had a couple of books on this type of topic. This is my second one. This is Madrigal's Magic Key to Spanish. Now this book's been in print since the 1950s. It's a very interesting book. Bit of a different approach to Bregstein's book, but I've used this before in the past with some success. It's very interesting because it uses a lot of parallels with words that are very similar in Spanish to English. So I'm going to restart with this book to give me a basis of my studies during the day. This particular book happily has 45 chapters. So if I carry on with it now, I still get a few days left before the end of the 90 days and I can finish this book hopefully fairly well. So I'm going to carry on with that as a way to bring me some extra grammar or revision material into what I'm reading, so I don't miss out on any of the real, like the essentials of the basics of what I'm trying to do. I think that will be a useful way to revise what the material I'm coming up against. So I'm going to go back to that. I've changed up a little bit in my day-to-day how I'm doing my studying generally. So I do a little bit of reading in the morning, but really I'm doing more of this now in the evenings, principally because the weather's really nice here now. It's actually quite warm, so during the day it's a bit hot. To sit around and try and concentrate as well is not the easiest thing really, because it's a little bit too hot for that, honestly. So I'm waiting till the evening where it's a little bit cooler, and then you can concentrate for a little bit more time in one go. So that's really it for the moment. So it's just to think about, remind yourself where you were trying to get to at the beginning of the process. So if you have like an end goal in mind, remind yourself of that. Look at maybe some of the elements that we've been trying throughout these 40 odd days. See which ones of these have been working better for you. If one of them is not, have a look why. Is there something perhaps that you could just change the time of day you're studying that? Can you change the way you just rewrite it, go back to it again? Or maybe, like I'm doing here with this Madrigal's book, just pick a different book to help you go back to the topic, because just by taking a different perspective on it, you can see it from a different angle. Different authors got a different take on the subject. That again may help you find a better way back into the studies. So wherever you are, I hope you're having a nice kind of weather we've got here in Medellin today, because it really is a glorious evening, truly. Buena suerte, good luck with it, and déjame saber en los comentarios how you're doing. Let me know in the comments. I'll catch up with you again tomorrow with a bit more progress on how I'm doing with Madrigal's book here, and maybe another one of the dialogues. We'll see how we get on with that. Take care for now. Cheerio.